प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्. We are studying the Bhagavadgita, the very first chapter. So far we have studied the battle scene in the Kurukshetra. The battle of Kurukshetra represents our own condition in the human life, and we are battling every day, every minute between the virtuous thoughts in our mind and non-virtuous thoughts. Pandavas represent the virtuous thoughts and the Kauravas represents the non-virtuous thoughts. So battle has all about to begin. Kauravas and Pandavas are ready to fight it out. The Krishna has, on the instruction of, or rather on the request of Arjuna, has stationed the Ratha, an excellent Ratha, in between the two armies. This is the battle scene, this is the circumstance, this is the situation we are in. Senayoho ubhayoho madhye stapayitva rathottamam. We know the two armies, the armies of the Kauravas and the armies of the Pandavas. In between them, Krishna stationed his beautiful Ratha with white horses pulling it and told Arjuna, and he stationed in front of the great army of Kauravas. The Kauravas army consists of the great archers, great soldiers, great warriors like the Bhishma, Drona, etc. Bhishma, Drona Pramukataha. And also Arjuna could find the great kings, the emperors in front of him. Sarvesham cha mahikshitam. Then, after having stationed the Ratha or the chariot in between the two armies, Krishna says to Arjuna, Uvacha Partha Pashya. O Partha, the son of Prutha, the Kunti, please see, Pashya, whom I have to see, Samavetan Kurun. The Kurun. Kuru, it is not to be taken literally. Kuru means Kuru Sainya, the army of the Kurus. If it is taken literally, Kuru means only the Kauravas. But here, Kuru means those who are assembled here in support of the Kauravas, Duryodhana, etc. Samaveta, they all have assembled here, you see them. I think so far we have studied in these classes and we shall continue with this. This is the narration of the charioteer of Dhritarashtra, Sanjaya, who is narrating this great event of the history, the Mahabharata war, to Dhritarashtra, the blind king. The context, the significance, the spiritual significance, the psychological significance, all these things we have analyzed in these classes. Then what did Arjuna see in both the armies? Normally we skip the significance, one of the great significance here. We tend to believe that Arjuna saw only the other side of the army, all his relatives and others. But it is clearly told in this Gita, Senayoho Ubhayoho Api. He saw the relatives on both his sides. In his side, the Pandava side, as well as the Kaurava side. What did he see? Tatra Pashyastitan Parthaha. This is shloka number 26 here. Tatra Pashyastitan Parthaha Pitrunata Pitamahan Acharyan Matulan Bhratrun Putran Putran Sakhinstata. Here ends the verse number 26. The list continues in the shloka number 27 also. Apashyatu, he saw. Whom he saw? He did not see the enemies which are unknown to him. He saw his own relatives, kith and kin, those who are dear and near to him. Tatra apashyastitan, those who are assembled, stated on either side of the army, either side of the battlefield. Pitrun, fathers. Here fathers means father-like figures. For those who are father-like figures, he saw them. Pitrunata Pithamahan. Who are those Pitrus? Uncles, Bhurishravas and other people who are like the father-like figures to Arjuna. Arjuna saw them because they are Pitrus or the uncles. They are very dear, they were very dear to him. He had a close association with them throughout his life. Pitamahan, grandfathers. Of course, we can easily recognize who are those grandfathers. Bhishma is one of the grandfathers there on the other side of the army, and the Somadatta is another name we come across. Acharyan, the foremost of the Acharya, the teachers, he saw them on the other side of the army, ready to fight against him. Drona is the foremost of the Acharya, and also the Krupa, and these are all the teachers. He saw them on the other side of the army. Matulan, maternal uncles. Shalya, Shakunis are maternal uncles. Rather, they are maternal uncles to Duryodhana. Duryodhana is as good as a brother to him, elder brother. So, Shalya and Shakuni are maternal uncles to Pandavas also. That is why here it is mentioned, Matulan, he saw the maternal uncles in front of him. Bhratrun, of course the Duryodhana, Dushyasana are the cousins. Cousins are but the brothers, they are just like brothers. He saw the brothers in them. All along he was hating Duryodhana and Dushyasana for their evil deeds. He had developed intense anger, hatred in them. But now everything has changed. Now he saw brothers in Duryodhana, brothers in Dushyasana, brothers in all Kauravas. This is the circumstance we are in. Putran, there are sons to Kauravas. One of them we know, Lakshmana. The son of Duryodhana is Lakshmana. There may be other sons to the Kauravas. They all have assembled there to fight against their own uncles, Pandavas. Pautran, the sons of Lakshmana, are the grandchildren. He saw the sons and the grandchildren. Sons means the Lakshmana, the son of Duryodhana, and also there may be sons of Lakshmana also who are stationed there, who are there on the side of the Kauravas, ready to battle. And they are called here Pautran, the grandchildren, and Sakhin, the comrades, the friends. Our friends are always of the equal age. If they are older or younger, we cannot call them the friends. Who are those comrades or the friends who are fighting against the Pandavas? Some names are given here, Ashwatthama, Jayadratha. They are all of his own age. They are all great friends. So, instead of developing hatred or anger, which is necessary to fight a war, Arjuna has developed compassion, friendliness. Instead of enemies, he is seeing only Pitrun, fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, and brothers and cousins, and Putran. He now even considers the son of Duryodhana as his own son, and Pautran and grandchildren, and he sees the evil-minded people like the Jayadratha, his own friend. Ashwatthama also he considers now as his own friend, and Shvashuran, father-in-law. There is a difference between the word Matula and the Shvashura. Matulas are the maternal uncles, Shvashuras are the fathers of the wives. So, the Shvashuras are also there. And in either army, either side of the battlefield, in the both armies, that means he saw it is a fight between the relatives, between the known people, between the friends, between the between the closely knitted individuals, and Suhrudaha, friends, those who are not blood related, but they are very close to him, like Krutavarma, Bhagavadgita, etc. So the word Suhruda is very important here. Suhruda means those who do good to a person in the time of crisis is called Suhruda. Here Krishna is doing some good to Arjuna. Krishna is teaching Bhagavadgita in order to remove the ignorance in Arjuna's mind. And Krishna is a Suhruda to Arjuna here. So those who help us in our time of distress, they are the real Suhrudas. So the word Suhruda has got a very important connotation here. As I told you in the earlier itself, not only on the side of the Kauravas, he saw the fathers, etc. He saw the fathers, grandfathers on this side, his own side also. That means it is a war between fathers and fathers, between grandfathers and grandfathers, between friends, between two sons. So it is a terrible war. It is not the war between some unknown people or people belonging to different lineages, different groups or the different kingdoms. It is a war being fought between the relatives, between the friends. So the terrible consequence, the terrible characteristic of the war is shown here. So 27th shloka, as I told you, continues with the list. I have not read it, but I have already explained it. Shvashuran suhrudaschaiva senayorubhayorapi tan samiksha sakaunteya sarvan bandhunavastitan. So the both sides of the army are filled with the relatives and friends, those who know each other for many years. So it is a terrible situation here, very strange circumstances here we are coming across. That is why Mahabharata war is something special, something which has got a distinct characteristic. It is something different from other wars we have seen in the history. Then what happens? Here is the first line of the 28th sloka. Krupaya aparaya vishto vishidan nidam abravit. This is the critical moment in the Arjuna's life. He was overwhelmed by krupa, or the compassion. Why he underwent this condition, this situation, why he had to undergo, why compassion overwhelmed him. This is a subject of psychological analysis. So we have viveka, what is good for us, what is bad for us, what is reality, what is not reality, what is permanent, what is not permanent. We are able to discriminate. The discrimination, viveka, we get through our intellect. Intellect is that which discriminates. The intellect gets training through the proper education. An uneducated man cannot discriminate. He fails to discriminate what is good for him, what he has to do, what he should not do. But a man without discrimination, an uneducated man, cannot do that. But the difference between an educated man, properly trained person, and what is education? Education is but the training to the mind, training to the intellect, and training to the body. So physical training, the mental training, and also the training in discernment or the discrimination, that is the faculty of the intellect, that what constitutes the integral education. Education is for the body, education is for the mind, and education is for the intellect. All these three kinds of education were a part of the ancient education in India. The ancient India, they used to train body, mind, and the intellect. And Arjuna had the excellent education under Acharya Drona and other teachers also. I am sure, we do not know the name, but definitely he had that training to his mind and the body. He had read scriptures under able teachers. He had developed a viveka buddhi, an intellect with discernment, discrimination, what is to be done, what is not to be done. Unfortunately, in this condition, in this situation, he has lost that discrimination. He has lost the power to discriminate or distinguish what is right and what is not right. Where I should develop compassion, where I should not develop compassion. I think in the earlier class I gave the example. Suppose our soldiers are waging war with the enemy. If they develop compassion towards the enemy soldiers, and what would be the state of the war? It is not a place to develop compassion. It is an unwarranted, misplaced compassion that we are finding in Arjuna. That means he has lost the power of viveka, discrimination. That's why he is under a delusion. A contrary understanding is what is called delusion here. I know this is true, this is not true. Truthfulness is something good for me. Telling lies is bad for me. Suppose if I am deluded, I will get the contrary or the opposite understanding. What is opposite understanding? I will be forced to tell a lie. That means I have failed to apply what I have learned in my education. I have forgotten. It is called Smriti Brahmsha, forgetfulness of my own understanding. My understanding is deluded by the temporary considerations. Here compassion is something, it should never come in the battlefield, on either field, either side of course. Kauravas have not developed any kind of compassion. They have no compassion for the Pandavas. And Pandavas in return should not have any kind of compassion towards Kauravas. The time for compassion is over. But still, Arjuna, after all this, at the 11th hour, when the weapons are about to be drawn and thrown to the other side, Arjuna feels compassion towards the other side. It is not a real compassion, it is something which we call as delusion, moha. So, the idea that killing is a sin, that too, the killing of my kith and kin, the relative, is a great sin. And this kind of idea should never enter into a soldier's mind. But unfortunately, Arjuna is overwhelmed with that kind of idea. That is why it is not called compassion, it is called delusion or the moha. Then what is the result of the delusion? When we are filled with real kind of compassion, the compassion of Lord Buddha, compassion of Lord Krishna, compassion of Lord Sri Ramakrishna or Swami Vivekananda, our mind will not be in sorrow. Our mind will be filled with joy to serve others. Service is an expression. Service is the external manifestation of the internal compassion. But here, this kind of fake compassion, a false kind of compassion that has developed in Arjuna, as I told you, it is not a real compassion but a delusion, misunderstanding. In traditional circles, it is called ajnana. Ajnana leads to dukkha, shoka. It is called the unsettled mental condition, what we are seeing in Arjuna. So, unsettled mental condition means we have grief. Grief is due to unsettled. If our mind is settled, if mind is steady, if mind is concentrated, if mind is guided by a kind of conviction, then there would be no grief at all. There would be no shoka at all. But when their mind is unsettled due to delusion, we have what is called the grief, shoka. So, shoka and moha, as we have repeatedly discussed in these classes, these are the two main impediments to the right understanding Arjuna is suffering from. The whole Gita teaching is meant to remove that shoka and the moha. So, delusion, moha, and moha leads to shoka. Now, that is why he doesn't understand what is the duty of his in this battle, what he has to do. It is a battle, it is a war. He has come there, has gone there to fight against the enemies. Enemies manifest the unrighteousness, adharma. He is not fighting against personalities or individuals there. He is fighting against dharma. And also, shoka is the effect of ahankara and the mamakara. When I feel my body is mine, I am body, if I don't distinguish, if I don't separate myself with the body, that is called adhyasa or adhyaropa in Vedanta, and that is the cause of the grief. If I feel I am Atman, I am of the nature of Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Satya means true, Satya means pure existence, Jnana means pure consciousness or the pure awareness and the knowledge, and I am infinite, Ananta, I am infinite. I am of the nature of pure existence, pure knowledge, and I am infinite, and then there will be no shoka at all. When I identify myself with the body and say, I am body, and whatever happens to my body, whatever happens to my mind, I feel that I am undergoing the troubles or tribulations, then that is the cause of the grief. So always the grief arises because of I, ahankara. And when I have that I or ahankara, I always hanker for something which belongs to body or the mind. Body, when I feel I am the body, then I always crave for those things which are favorable to body, conducive to body's welfare, and I always hanker for it. I say it is my car because it is something connected with my body, because I am the body. This is what is meant by ahankara and mamakara. So here, now because of this shoka and moha, Arjuna is trying to run away from his duty. If we have the clear concept of our dharma, dharma is something instructed by the Veda, Shastras, according to our station in life, according to the stage of life we are in, dharma instructs the duties. If we obey the dharma or the Veda, and if we do our duties according to the instructions of the Shastras, it is called dharma or the righteousness. Otherwise, it is called the adharma. For Arjuna's case, dharma is fighting the war against the evil forces, Duryodhana and others represent. He is running away from that. He is refraining from doing his dharma. That means it is adharma. Always adharma causes misery. Why we are suffering from misery? Because we are not on the path of the dharma. If we are on the path of the dharma, misery will not enter into our mind. That kind of state of mind where we suffer, the thoughts which cause us the suffering, is called kleshas in the Yoga Sutra. So, Madhusudana Saraswati explains the psychological state of mind of Arjuna in depth in his commentary, Gudhartha Deepika. Now, Krupaya Paraya Vishtaha. This is a very interesting observation here by Madhusudana Saraswati. Normally we understand Krupaya Paraya. Paraya means superior. Para means superior. And Krupa means, as I have already explained, it is compassion or the sympathy towards others, which is a very good virtue in other circumstances, not in the battlefield. Why it is Paraya Krupaya? Sanskrit is a very interesting language. If you join Paraya Krupaya, then you have Savarna Dirgha Sandhi. Paraya Krupaya can be understood at Paraya Akrupaya also, according to Madhusudana Saraswati. Of course, here Savarna Dirgha Sandhi is not used. Here he gives the meaning of both the readings, Paraya Krupaya as well as Aparaya Krupaya. Let us dwell on the meaning of Paraya Krupaya. Why it is called a superior kind of compassion on the part of Arjuna? Because the sympathy or compassion we should have when we are in the battlefield towards our own army. Arjuna was supposed to have compassion, sympathy, a soft corner for his own army, for the Pandava army. And of course he had that compassion, soft corner for his own army, but fortunately or unfortunately, he developed compassion or the soft corner, sympathy for other army also, the enemy army also. In the battlefield, it is something very strange. It is undone. You cannot have compassion, soft corner towards your enemies. Then you are not a soldier at all. You are not doing the duty of a soldier. If you develop a soft corner towards the enemies. So in this sense, so it is something more than an ordinary compassion. Ordinary type of compassion is or the sympathy is limited to our own army, one's own army. That is what is expected from Arjuna. But he has developed compassion for the enemy army also. That is why it is a kind of compassion which is very, very inferior according to Madhusudana Saraswati. That is why he reads Paraya as Aparaya. It is not Paraya, Aparaya. It is an inferior kind of compassion. What I have explained in the second meaning. Of course, in the normal reading, in many books, in other books, you find Paraya Krupaya means superior kind of compassion. Why it is superior kind of compassion? Generally, we develop compassion or sympathy out of training, out of effort. After long association with some people, that compassion or sympathy, daya, develop progressively, gradually over the period. But here we have a strange situation where Arjuna, so far he has developed hatred. He was having the enmity towards the Pandavas' army. Suddenly, instantaneously, has developed compassion, sympathy towards the Kaurava army. It is a sudden conversion on his part, sudden change in his mental state. That is why it is called superior kind of compassion. So, Paraya Krupaya. So, in other sense, it is Aparaya Krupaya. It is an inferior kind of compassion. So, scholars explain like this. Whatever it may be, it may let it be Paraya Krupaya, superior kind of compassion, or inferior kind of compassion. But it is not a compassion that as one should show in the battlefield, to the least to the enemies with whom he is supposed to fight. So, filled with this kind of compassion, pity, sympathy, a soft corner, Vishidan. Why this compassion should give him Vishada? The chapter is called the Arjuna Vishada. Vishada means sorrow. As I tried to make home for you, compassion, Buddha's compassion, Sri Ramakrishna's compassion, all comprehensive, universal compassion that should give us joy, inner joy, the bliss. Here, because of this wrong type of compassion, misplaced compassion, Arjuna is filled with Vishada also. So there are two emotions or two states of mind in one, in his mind of Arjuna. One is misplaced compassion, and out of misplaced compassion, he is filled with the midari. That means it is not a compassion at all, it is a delusion. Because as I told you, delusion gives us midari. So we should dwell upon closely the mental state of Arjuna, because his mental state is not much different from our own mental state. Sometimes we have misplaced sentiments. Where we are not supposed to show compassion, we show compassion. Where we are supposed to show compassion, we become stiff and we start hating the people. We develop hatred. So where compassion should be placed? What is the proper time and space one should show compassion? What is this time and place where one should not show compassion? One should know that. So the sentiments are misplaced, emotions are misdirected. That is why we suffer. That is the problem of Arjuna also. So Vishidan Abravit. Why he has to be filled with agony? Because he feels not only I am going to die, or the people belonging to my army are going to die, the people on the other side also are going to die. What is death? He forgets the death is limited to only body. There is no death for the soul, there is no death for the Atman, as we see in the next chapter. Madhusudana Saraswati beautifully puts it, Swa Paradeha Vinasha Prasanga Darshanat. That we will come later. So Vishidan, he is filled with a raw misplaced compassion, whether it is Krupaya, Aparaya or Aparaya, that is left to you. It is inferior in one sense, it is superior in another sense. Whatever it is, he is filled with the sympathy for other side of the army, his own enemies, and that made him miserable. With misery in his mind, with great difficulty, he is talking to Krishna. Vishidan idam, this vachanam, this word he speaks. So this is the subject of the first part of the 26th verse. What Arjuna said is very, very interesting. Arjuna uvacha. Drushtve swajanam Krishna yuyutsum samupastitam Sidanti mama gatrani mukham cha parishushati vepatuscha sharire me romaharshascha jayate gandivam tramsate hastat tvakchaiva paridashyate na cha shaknomyavastatum भ्रमतीव च मे मनः निमित्तानि च पश्यामि विपरीतानि केशव न च श्रेयोनुपश्यामि हत्वा स्वजनमाहवे. What I have just chanted is the second part of the 28th shloka, Drishtvemam Swajanam Krishna, etc., and 29, 30 and 31. It is better to read these verses together and try to understand this meaning. So I have already explained the mental condition Arjuna had before he uttered these words. So in the context of his mental condition, we have to understand the words spoken by Arjuna. This is very important. What he says, Drishtva imam swajanam Krishna. O Krishna, what I am seeing on the other side of the army are not enemies at all. I am seeing only my own people, Swajana, my own people. They are here to wage the war, yujutsum, desirous of war, yujutsum samupastitam. They have assembled here, samupastitan, yujutsum, not for a party or celebration or the marriage. The relatives come together, they assemble generally for a happy occasion, marriage or any other religious ceremony, etc. But they have all come here, they have assembled here. It is very strange, it is tragic. Oh Krishna, they have come assembled here to fight. I can't stand it. It is something I can't even imagine. Oh Krishna, what is happening to you? Sidanti mama gatrani, my limbs become languid. My arms are aching. They have become weak. Mukham cha parishusyati. My mouth becomes dry as if. Shushya means drying. Here the parishusyati is added, completely dried up. Even in the most distressed times, our mouth doesn't completely dries up. But in the case of Arjuna, his mouth has completely dried up. There is no water nearby, no water bottles available for Arjuna. Vepa tuscha sharire me. My body is trembling, O Krishna. Roma harshascha jayate. There is haripulation all over my body. Haripulations happens even when one is overjoyed. One is ecstatic with joy. And haripulation happens even when he is filled with agony or excited when he is in misery. So these are the three signs. Sidanti mama gatrani, mukham cha parishusyati, vepatuscha sharire me, and roma harshascha jayate. So there is a psychological analysis here. Excessive dryness, not ordinary dryness, parishusyati. Why? If he is physically exalted, if physically weak, you will not find the excessive dryness, only an ordinary kind of dryness. That means it is connected with the mind. His mind is full of misery, he is sorrowful. That is why you find the excessive dryness in his mouth. And also, next shloka says, Gandivam sramsate hastat. Gandiva, the great bow of Arjuna, given by none other than the Pashupati, Shiva himself, is slipping away. That means there is a terrible weakness. There was no reason for Arjuna to become so weak in that critical time. That means he has lost the power of fortitude. He has lost the courage. When we are in adverse time, what is needed is fortitude, courage we should develop. This courage that will help to overcome our difficulties or distress times. But in the case of Arjuna, he has lost that. No courage at all, no dhairya at all. The slipping of Gandiva, his bow suggests that. Tvakchaiva paridashyate, the whole skin, it becomes, is burning its skin is burning. The mouth has completely dried up. The bow is about to fall, is slipping, not has fallen, it is slipping. That means all these signs indicate the mental agony within Arjuna. Who caused this mental agony? The war has not yet started at all. Not a single arrow was thrown to each other. Why there should be mental agony? Why there should be misery? Why there should be so much stressful situation here? Our commentators, our ancient scholars of Bhagavadgita rightfully suggest it is delusion, it is moha, wrong understanding and deviating away from the proper duty one has to do in one circumstance or the situation. And lastly he says, Nacha shaknomi avastatum, I am not able to stand. Why you are not able to stand? O brother Arjuna, Brahmati vacha me manaha, because my mind is whirling. There is a peculiar feeling in the mind. I am about to go unconsciousness. This is the state just before one goes unconscious or swoon, his mind gets whirling of the mind. That state Arjuna has reached. Fortunately, we don't have records here whether he went unconscious or not, he swooned himself or not. Because the mind is whirling, I am not able to stand. Nacha shaknomi avasthatum. Then further, anything, Arjuna? Yes, there are so many things. Nimittani cha pashyami. Viparitani nimittani. There are two kinds of omens. One is good women and a bad women. If the right eye flutters, they say it is a good woman, something good going to happen to us. If the left eye flutters, oh, something bad is going to happen. In the case of Arjuna, he is seeing or experiencing only bad omens. Nimittani viparitani pashyami. I am experiencing, I am noticing only bad omens, adverse omens, omens indicating of impending catastrophe, something very bad, something very evil is going to happen to me. This is also the reason why I am not able to stand. Why I am not able to stand. Suppose a person is asked to speak in the public, he is full of fear, it is frightening for him, no words are coming out, and he is not able to stand. That we all have experienced, we have noticed. And he utters, suddenly he remembers, because he had a very good grounding in spiritual education, grounding in ethics and also spirituality, Adhyatma Vidya, that Krishna is going to describe in the coming coming chapters. Nimittani cha pashyami viparitani Keshava. The word Keshava, wonderful word he has used now. Keshava. Who is Keshava? Madhusudana Saraswati says, Keshava has got a deep meaning. There are Ko means Brahma, Srishtikarta, the creator of this universe, and Rudra, and the one who destroyer. So, Ko refers to both creator Brahma and also Rudra, the Shiva who is destroyer of the universe. Ko Vati, he approaches. The Lord Vishnu approaches. Lord Vishnu associates with Brahma and the Rudra with Anukampa, with full of compassion, full of sympathy, and that is why the Lord is called here Keshava. And also there is another meaning. Keshya is a demon. He is referred to as Dushta Daitya, an evil demon. By killing such demons, the Lord protects the devotees. That is why he is called the Keshava. O Lord, in the past you have protected the devotees by killing such demons as Keshi, etc. And you have shown compassion to the Srishtikarta, the creator Brahma himself, and also the destroyer Rudra himself. So, now it is time for you to show me compassion. Now it is time for you to show me, to give me protection. So Arjuna is seeking protection and compassion from the Lord Krishna. That is why he is addressing Krishna by the name Keshava. O Keshava, you are a protector and you have showed compassion earlier to the Brahma and Rudra themselves. Nacha shreyonu pashyami hatva swajanam ahave. Ahave means in the war. I don't see any good. Shreya means good. This word Shreya has got a spiritual significance in our ancient literature. Shreyascha preyascha manushyametaha. This is wordings you find in Kathopanishad. Shreyas is a path that leads to ultimate good, and preyas is the path that will lead to ultimate evil. So one should follow the path of Shreyas. One should avoid the path of the preyas. So Shreyas means good. Good in this world as well as in the world which comes later. So this is a very peculiar idea you find in our Vedantic literature. We not only enjoy pleasures in this world, we can also enjoy pleasures even after we leave the body in heavens, etc., Swarga, etc. Not only one should aspire according to the ordinary religion, ordinary ritualistic religion, we should do karmas or the rituals to enjoy pleasures in this world, as well as we should do karmas to enjoy, continue to enjoy the pleasures in the next world, in this Swarga. So by killing my own people in the battlefield, in the war, ahave means war. Swajanam hatva, by killing my own people, our own people, I don't see any good. That means I don't see we can enjoy, we can be happy in this world or in the next world, in the coming world. And very interestingly, the scriptures say those who are killed in the war, they will go to Swarga directly. They will go to heaven directly. That's why in the second chapter we read, Hatova prapyasi swargam, jitvava bhokshase mahim. O Arjuna, either way, war is good for you, because if you win the war, you will enjoy the kingdom. If you are killed by your enemies in the war, you will directly go to the heaven. So those who are killed are more, they have more advantage than those who kill in the war. That is the argument of Arjuna. He is already imagining that I am going to kill my father figures like Bhishma, Drona, etc. I am going to kill my brothers like figures like Duryodhana, etc. And I will incur sin. No good will come to me by killing them, but those who are killed will go to heaven. So that is the meaning of this the shloka. Shreya means human goal, as I told you, drushta and adrushta. Drushta means what is going to come in this life itself, when one enjoys in this life itself. In the next shloka, he will say, or afterwards, he will say, even if I kill them, I will not be able to enjoy. I will not be able to enjoy the kingdom at all, because I will always be suffering from the guilty feeling that I have killed my own relatives. And also I will feel that I have incurred sin that will take me to Naraka or the hell itself. So there is no happiness in this world, even if I kill my enemies and I have got the opportunity to enjoy the kingdom. So when I go to heaven, when I go to some other loka after my death, then also there will be no enjoyment at all. So no pleasure, no happiness in this world, as well as no happiness in the other world. Then why should I fight? Why should I kill my own kith and kin? Why should I kill my own relatives? This is the question. This is one of the objections. This is one of the arguments put forward by Arjuna against waging war. He has so many arguments. Now in this chapter also you find some arguments. In the next chapter also you will find some arguments. The first argument is, I will not find any of the human goal is fulfilled by killing my own people in this war. And this is the meaning of the verse number 31. And let us stop here. We have no time for the next shloka. We will continue to study Gita in the next class. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu.